Hey everybody, I am going to go ahead and talk today about a method you can use to make a absolutely obscene amount of currency with relatively little investment. So if you have about maybe 5 to 10 exalts laying around and you don't really kind of have anything to do with it, this is something you can potentially do for a huge payout. So this afternoon, I actually ended up making, in the span of about like 2 hours, I ended up making about 65 exalts, which is insane. I don't think I've ever made that much currency that fast in the game, but specifically I wanted to talk about Awakener Orb crafting because I think it is a highly underutilized mechanic. I think not that many players know about it or use it. I think it's mostly kind of high-end stuff that only like high-level players or I guess like veterans of the game do. But really anybody can do this. It just takes a little bit of investment and a little bit of know-how, and it's really simple. And you can potentially make items that are worth tens, if not even potentially hundreds of exalts. So this afternoon I was working, if you've watched my previous videos, I was working trying to craft a more discharge helmets, kind of like this one. And I crafted a helmet that was just absolutely insane, and this does require a little bit of luck. So you're not guaranteed every single time to get something absolutely crazy, but there's a good possibility that you will at least get your money back on the item you create, unless it rolls absolutely terribly. Which can happen, but typically speaking, it's pretty low investment, so you should at least make some or most of your currency back. So this is a helm that I crafted earlier today. I'll explain how the Awakener's Orb works if you don't know or have never used one, but you can make stuff like this, and all I did was use an Awakener's Orb, and that's it. And then I just slapped on that life craft, and this helm was done, and I put it up on the market and sold within 4 minutes for a price of 50 exalts. So I logged on today to Path of Exile. I pretty much had a currency tab that looks like this one, and now I have sitting in my tab here half of a headhunter. So literally this afternoon I made half of a headhunter, so this is one way you can potentially make a lot of money. So, Awakener's Orb destroys an item, applying its influence to another of the same item class. The second item is reforged as a rare with both influence types and new modifiers. So, just on the cover, it doesn't seem like it's too amazing. It pretty much combines two influences and then rerolls the item to whatever. But the thing is there's actually, if you've never used this thing, there's a hidden mechanic in that it actually, you can deterministically kind of pick these new modifiers. So you can potentially make an item that's really nice. So the way it works is you have to first sacrifice an item. So in this case, I will actually in this video do the process right here in front of you. So here is my item that I'm going to sacrifice. What's important here is you have to make sure that whatever you're going to pick, there's only one influence mod. So this hidden mechanic, basically what it does is it takes one modifier from the sacrifice item, influence modifier, and it takes one influence modifier from the pretty much your the item you want to apply it to, and it puts those two influence modifiers together, and then everything else can roll randomly. So that's where a bit of the luck comes in. But at the very least, you will get a double influenced item with two of the influence modifiers that you pick. So in this case, I am looking for a discharge helmet. So the best thing I found was this: nearby enemies take 6% increased elemental damage. So what's important when you pick the item you want to kind of sacrifice is that there's only one influence modifier on it. In this case, it's of shaping, so it's a shaped item. You want to make sure that you don't buy items that have two or more influence modifiers, because then the orb will pick them at random, and there's basically no, you pretty much throw your deterministic crafting out of the window, because then it'll just randomly pick one and you might get something you don't want. So when you're buying these, just make sure you watch out for that. This item kind of looks like garbage, this helm, but I actually had to pay 70 chaos for this. So that's one of the kind of investments you have to make, because if some people that know about this crafting will see that, oh, this is a single influence modifier, it's a pretty rare modifier, and it's a good Awakener Orb base. So some of these items can be a bit expensive. But 70 chaos is still nothing really that insane. The next item you want to get is what you want is pretty much the destination item. So in this case, I have a hubris circlet here, little over 20 quality, doesn't matter. I have the enchant that I want, which is discharge, has +5 radius, and more importantly, it has the second influence modifier you want to combine it with. In this case, I have this pretty rare +1 maximum power charger. So this is how I am crafting my helmets, my discharge helmets. So this will be my third one I'm crafting. As you can see with this one that I sold for 50x, I got extremely lucky because obviously I hit the increased elemental damage taken and +1 max power charge. Those two are guaranteed. But then I got super lucky and hit 2 amazing resists. I got tier 1 lightning and tier 2 fire. And I also actually hit a third influenced modifier that it just happened to roll. And it was tier 3 warlord's elemental damage. In that case, all I had left was an open prefix, and this helm was done. This helm just on its own like this is crazy. Unfortunately, I couldn't use it because the way I am building my character, I need to have of the aspect of the cat, which is a suffix, and this helm's suffixes were full, so unfortunately I had to sell this helm. I would have loved to use this helm, but I definitely did not want to touch these resists. I did not want to touch anything on this helm, and I sold it as is. Again, in 4 minutes of it being on the market, it sold for 50x. So, and again, all I used was an Awakener's Orb. So, what I would recommend is to find 2 influence modifiers that synergistically kind of work well together. So in this case, the LE damage, the +1 max power charge, and a good enchant, that these ones all really work well together. And you can potentially get something really good. As you can see, I've pulled up here. There's only 2 helmets right now for sale that have the LE damage and the power charge, and the lowest one is 14x. I'm pretty sure if I go online, I'll find a little lower. Yeah, so a little lower here. This one has a kind of a weird enchant. This one's corrupted. But you can see pretty much, even pretty much kind of the crappiest ones are like, it's going for 6 exalts. So this one's actually not that bad. But pretty much there's a good chance you can make some of your money back at least, even if you hit some kind of junk. So pick 2 influence modifiers, make sure it's the only influence modifier in each item, and then you pretty much just put them together and pray to RNGesus that you get something amazing like I got here with this helm that I just sold for 50x. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now. So again, the only investment is the Awakener's Orb, 1.5 exalts. Your sacrificed item, which probably will range anywhere from 20 to, I don't know, like 80 chaos, depending on how rare this mod is. And then your item you're going to apply it to. This one here probably would go for about 2 exalts or so, or 3 exalts maybe. So in total, my investment right now into this is about what? So that's let's call it 2.5 exalts. So 3. So with the Awakener's Orb, so it's 4 exalts, and then this helm, call it half an exalt. So it's about 4.5 exalt investment. You're gonna right click it. You're gonna hit the sacrificed item, and then you're gonna apply it to your destination item. In this case, didn't get too lucky. This one didn't really hit too good. It looks like we got 2 prefixes, 2 suffixes, which is actually kind of nice because it does leave some room to have some open crafts. This one hit a tier 4 lightning resist and a pretty useless hybrid energy shield. So this one I probably won't make too much off of it. I actually will not end up selling this. What I'm actually going to do now is, it's actually really similar to my helm. I'm going to go ahead and craft aspect of the cat, and I'm going to go ahead and craft life on it. And now I'll have this helmet I will actually use for my build because it works perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and use it, and now I have a helmet I can double corrupt to try to get an additional power charge. So this one didn't really hit too well. but it actually works pretty nice for my build considering it has the open prefix and open suffix. But again, you can craft stuff like this and get pretty lucky and make tens of potentially hundreds of exalts. So I just wanted to share that little method, how you can make some crazy currency in this game with pretty little investment. Awakener orbs are definitely it's a gamble, but again, it's a low investment gamble. This helm right here, I just made again for what, 4.5 exalts, so not too bad overall. I'm gonna go ahead and now farm up some tier 3 Alva corruptions, and I'm gonna try to corrupt these for a second power charge. So that's it. That's gonna be all for this video. I hope you guys are having fun in the league. I have surely gotten lucky. Actually, aside from selling that crazy helm for 50 exalts this afternoon, I actually also found a bottled faith. I just bought a Cortex just so I can finish the final fight, that the feared, and it ended up dropping a bottled faith. So on top of getting my 2 last points, I actually also got 8 exalts in profit. So this is my Uncharted Realms, by the way. I love doing bosses, so I have pretty much all the stuff for bosses. I have the 50% increased chance to drop an Awakened Support Gem. So far, I've only gotten 1, and I sold it for 4 exalts, so it kind of already paid off. And I do a lot of Shaper and a lot of Elder, so I love getting my Watcher's Eyes. I've gotten 3 so far this league, I think. So Gaze into the Abyss was also a great one for me. Enduring Influence is also quite nice. I don't really care too much about the Xana missions. The synthesis stuff is actually quite interesting. I think these can potentially be nice to farm synthesis items if the synthesis maps get low enough in cost. I think they're currently about like 45C right now, which isn't bad, but it's not great. I think if the maps get a little cheaper, it could potentially be also a pretty good method to try to farm some crazy synthesis bases. But for now, I'm just doing the, I guess, the good old Cirrus and Shaper Elder, and it's making me some money. So anyways, that is all I have for this video today for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this. Find 2 great influence modifiers to slam together, and you can potentially make some big bucks. Anyways, that's all for today. I'll see you guys on the next video.